Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Darkroom 2013. Torture has a new home, hers.
Directed by Britt Napier, starring Kaylee DeFer, Elisabeth Röhm, Christian Campbell, and Tobias Segal. This movie's about Michelle, who, after going through some counseling, is recommended for a job with Larry, the photographer. She shows up and she's locked up by 3 psychopathic siblings hell-bent on purging her sins. This movie was recommended from Patreon, Cool Fire Newt Shannon. She's been recommending this for quite some time. And we chose her in the last monthly movie recommendation raffle thing that we're not allowed to say raffles on Patreon anymore. And we hand-selected this film, yes. And at first glance, the cover looks intriguing. I had seen this on Tubi. I see this and it's like, wow, that looks like a fun time. Well, let's talk about that by starting with our likes.
I'll give props to Michelle's character. She was resilient and she did kick some ass. And she was a strong character.
The acting was well done on her part. She has to deal with like a ton of shit. And I don't know how I would act in these situations. She had to kind of be almost a mental patient, but also somebody like going through like grief and then also trying to get out of the worst situation ever. I did like the location. The location is just this big weird mansion or like an old private school, it seems like. There's a bunch of like dirty rooms. It just seems really run down and grimy and very hostile-like.
And they do have some nice set pieces. It's weird to say like a dead body with its spine sticking out of it as a set piece, but like throughout the rooms, there's their victims just mutilated. And it adds to that creepy effect, and it does look pretty cool.
Now, what didn't we like?
This film's story, I don't get what they thought would be a smart way to execute this. Because the first 30 minutes of the film, I don't know what's a flashback, I don't know what's present, and they don't do a good job establishing what timeline we're actually in. Why am I gonna care what's gonna happen in the next hour?
Because the flashbacks look like they could be flash forwards, because it looks like she's in an asylum, which I guess we find out right now by reading the synopsis that it was just counseling. We thought it was a psych ward, but I guess not.
It feels like Girl Interrupted.
What's weird too is that location looks like the location that she went to, and because it shows her like cleaning floors in like the psych area, we thought that that could possibly be after the torture events, and maybe this is her recuperating from what happened when she's being tortured, but we find out it's prior to it. It's really confusing because the locations look the same and you have no idea what's past or present or potentially future. For anyone that is going to watch this, the flashbacks are just that. They are flashbacks and not flash forwards, even though they definitely seem like they are.
This movie also starts off with a kid playing hide and seek, looking for like a girl, and it's our main lead. This doesn't relate to anything in the movie other than it's the younger version of one of the characters and the present day version of our main lead.
Maybe if they grew up together, this would make sense. Like, oh, like back in the day when we used to play hide and seek. That's not the case. There's no kind of like twists or big reveals throughout the film which would make that opening part make any sense. Once we get through all of these flashback sequences and stuff, we have Michelle. She's locked in this room and she's being tortured by these 3 siblings. Danny, obviously, being the slower of the group, trying to help her out. He feels like they have a special bond, but nothing is really interesting about any of this. I didn't like any of our characters except for Michelle because they just seemed fake and weird and they didn't have any real motives.
I didn't do anything to you!
I got plenty of time to answer that question.
All you hear is them talking about purging sins, which was obviously passed down from their mother. I mean, it didn't seem like they were a religious bunch, despite saying like, purge sins to me. You're taking a drill to people's insides and thinking you're better than this girl you've just abducted. Like, it just didn't make any sense. And I know that people that are psychotic don't really make sense, but a movie about people that are psychotic should make some sense.
They take girls and they torture them just like their mom tortured them growing up.
But nobody did anything wrong.
And on top of that, they don't even bring the mother into it. Like, are we to assume that the mother just died of natural causes?
Or are they doing this and mom is watching because they're videotaping it all? Why are they videotaping it all? How long have they been doing it? Is there an end goal? It sounds like I'm trying to get like deeper with this and I want like some kind of like bigger explanation. But just in general, there's nothing you're really going to care about. You're just gonna say, okay, I hope this girl gets out, kind of. She hasn't really proven why we should even really care about her. All we know of her is she killed 3 of her friends because she was a drunk driver. Like, is that somebody we're supposed to root for?
And the film does a really bad job with creating this tension and us hoping that she's going to escape because there really is no threat.
I'll get the whore.
Don't bother. She can't escape. I made sure.
They are not concerned that one of these girls has escaped their house. They just go do their own thing. So if they're not constantly chasing her and there's no cat and mouse game, then I don't feel threatened.
Like, what are we watching now? Now we're watching her scurry about in the roof and some drop ceilings and them walk around the asylum or whatever the hell it is, doing nothing. Cool.
We get our exposition when she goes into the video camera room and we see like a 10-minute scene of her watching their childhood videos. That's a really, really weird situation to be put in when you should be more like, am I gonna get caught? Should I hide? Should I get a weapon? Nope. I'm gonna pull up a lazy boy and see what Danny's childhood was like.
Right, that they have on repeat in their surveillance room. If you have a surveillance room, shouldn't you be watching the rooms? Especially when you see that Michelle is smashing up one of the walls to escape. There's like, oh, we have the surveillance, but nobody actually monitors it because there's only 3 of us and we're all doing our own thing. Yeah. So who the fuck is in the surveillance room and why didn't you watch this girl escape just now? Instead, oh, maybe they were just watching their own old family videos. Slacking on the job, Danny, I tell ya. Overall, this movie was just super boring. That's why we're kind of like just spoiling it and talking about it because this video probably, you should only make it this far into this video if you've seen the movie because I'm pretty sure you realize that we're not going to be giving this a stellar rating. But on that, let's talk about our ratings in our final thoughts and ratings. This was not an enjoyable film. Aside from Michelle's character, I didn't really like anything about it. Honestly, the cinematography and like the quality of movie elevates it over a lot of other indie movies, but the story is nonsensical and all of the character decisions are just bad. Nothing really happens to Michelle, despite this being a torture film, despite the poster looking like a bunch of dangerous weapons. She leaves basically unscathed. And so aside from being locked in a room, she's not really tortured. I don't know what else to say about this movie other than it's just really boring and it's not worth watching. So I'm gonna give this 1 lingering butt shot out of 5.
This film did not start off well. It didn't draw any interest to me. There's nothing wrong with this film visually. There's nothing really wrong with the acting. It's just this story was not enjoyable. And even when things pick up, they don't actually pick up because the 3 siblings do not care that Michelle is running wild and about to escape their torture hotel. I did like Michelle's character. I thought she was strong, and I thought some of the decisions she made were the right decisions, but at the same time, when no one's really chasing you, you could take all the time in the world, watch a movie, grab a weapon, and then figure out your escape plan. You don't get cool torture scenes, you don't have any tension. I don't do it often, but I would not recommend this movie. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 0.5 dirty girls out of 5.
What are you? A dirty girl. A dirty girl. A dirty girl.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there are links in the description. It's on Tubi for free. And if you want the opportunity to recommend a movie for us to review, check out the Patreon links also in the description. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.